Testing 1 2 3. 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 Testing 1 2 3.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay. Welcome everyone. We're out here with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is a game where you are a lawyer. So you gotta one, investigate cases and stuff and get the evidence and understand both sides, and then also you gotta do the arguing in court. So this is a famous series with the guy Phoenix Wright, but this is kind of like a spin-off, or with like another set of characters that's supposed to be kind of like in a Sherlock Holmes type of aesthetic. And there's actually a character in this game that's clearly a wannabe of Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, let me get my camera set up and we will begin. There we are. Alright, let's go. Oh, so there's 2 games in here. That's cool. Select adventure. Oh, you can go episode by episode. Okay. Here we go. Wow, nice cutscene.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of...
What's up, lockpicking accountant? I'll mute for the cutscene, but I'll be back.
The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay. Oh, we can have autoplay of the text? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer! Sorry. My name is Ryonosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumei whatever. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm Ryu from Street Fighter. I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how the court officer should behave. Right, Ryonosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. No, I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumei University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryonosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yumei University. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have... 3 days? Wait, hold up. Did you say days or years? 3 days ago, okay. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Hold up. Gotta check the chat here. With as much apologizing as he's doing, he could be an honorary with, of course, the non-American spelling. Honorary Canadian. I mean, you said it, not me. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing in my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. By the way, anyone watching, just make sure you pay attention to the actual names that are here, because it's going to be too much work to quickly switch between two slightly different voices for these characters. Anyway, carrying on. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy a place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get a visit to a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, in this case, it's personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. Is it Asogi or Asogi? To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in his trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryonosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. I'm just gonna go with Ryo for now. I'm not gonna say that full name. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Ryu. Oh, I've been saying Ryo. It's Ryu. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryu Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yumei University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government agree to Kazuma studying abroad. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you have no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go to study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. Oh, that was a question. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant? Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Man, this music is intense. I like it. Allow me to summarize. Wait, hold on. Let me fix something with the stream real quick. With, like, the... Oh, oops. I'm trying to find a solution to be able to show the camera. Oops. That was stretching. Oh, I just noticed Mark is here. What's up, Mark? Yeah, I'm gonna put a cam up. I'm just trying to position it right. It's kind of small. I think I can just put it here. Let me make it a little bigger. Oh, that stretches it. On OBS, if I press shift, it actually takes the box out of its proportion, which is like the opposite of what I'm used to. Okay. Here we go. Oh wait, I didn't read the history, which is probably important for a court case. What do you say? Kazuma must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Okay, so I'm gonna have to defend myself, and then the game teaches me the mechanics of the game. Anyway, let's stop breaking immersion. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. So this is a courtroom? Man, he's wide-eyed. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now. Shout out to his headband flowing in the wind indoors. You need to concentrate, Ryu. Okay. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Hanaduholo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. Oh. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Hanaduholo, will be defending myself. You'll be... what? What are you playing at, Ryu? Professor Mikotoba told me everything. Just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that... well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well. Does the accused admit a defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really? Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he could speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected. Do I make myself clear, defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, you can't be questioning more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that! What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. And I can't even find that! It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright. There's no time to lose. Oh, it wants me to actually press it. This is a list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, press E and go back. So the victim's name is John H. Wilson. He was from the British Empire. Okay. Press Z to go back. Just remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record. Then press R to present.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to the university. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of Anglo... Wait, hold on. Sorry, I was fixing my chair and then I missed that part. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship in Navigation. Hold up. I messed that one up too. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of Englishmen has been spilt on our soil. Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. The case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. Need some water here. Man, the judge's voice is what kills me. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities. Okay, I missed that whole part while I was drinking. Let me go back. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers, and you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. Okay. Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference from here. For me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you got to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryonosuke. Remember that in court, Every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. I definitely don't want to put that because that would say that I was the cause of death. R is present. According to this document, the victim suffered a... Oh wait, I was checking the chat real quick. Hold up. Death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Modern scientific evidence. Nice touch. He definitely wouldn't say that in real life, though. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. Here we go again. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there at the scene of the crime. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some... What? It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. This man got COVID. Yeah. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We had few dinners. Lunchtime rush was over and there were only 3 tables to occupy. And that fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryo. You'll have your chance to fight back. Ryu. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. Ugh. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait. What did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at this table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I'm just gonna do it.
Yes.
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There's a lady sitting with him at the table. Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for the court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? What? I'm sure of what I saw. I guess I should have waited. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of event is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. A very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Oh, that's Ryu talking. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. So the court has now heard... oops. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of this case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it. Professor Mikotoba says it. And so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Auchi, please continue with proceedings. His name is Auchi. Well, you were warned. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names, occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayasa Nosa.
Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasutei, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Kiyohiro, alright.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the day on question. It must be...
Myself, I habitually take tea with the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, almost post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that this old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniform rogue infantryman over there. This man's impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive incident the prosecution was referring to. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw. Somebody's crying. What is that? I just heard it just now. Okay. It doesn't seem to let me... kitchen entrance. Guess we'll have to find out what this X means. Okay. Doesn't let me check any more of the business card. Ah, yes, Anosa. Kiroyo Korekuta. Okay. This guy's lines are going to be hard to read. Alright. Here's what Phoenix Wright is all about right here. The testimony. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio in the military government.
To the military government. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniform varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir.
What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in broad day, light of day.
This is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryu? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the ground. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to challenge, is where he was shot in and all that. I noticed that too. Oh, wait, I didn't even read what that said. I went back to my table and sat down. Okay. When I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimony, there's a clue as to who the criminal was. There is? Ryu, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we've heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly. The testimony that the court just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it? How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? Prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense construct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryu. But I don't even know what I have to do in the cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive, indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryu. Don't let them beat you. All right, then. It's all or nothing. Cross-examination. Let's turn off the autoplay. Alright, so right here, it looks like it has my, attempts. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant. Yeah, I don't see any issue with that.
Myself, I was exploring the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio with the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back. That cowardly little weasel. Okay.
Yes.
Sent. They're sweating bullets. Those are emphasizing the awkwardness here. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrustings of a photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we didn't already know? Well, obviously that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency. There is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out, it would be an insult to the court. Kazuma? What? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayesanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military great eyes, sir. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? What? What's the baby doing? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back when he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesanosa, did not see the defendant firing the gun at all. That's absurd. I think a conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there! He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun! All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man? You didn't see the moment the victim was shot either?
Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure? Ah, indeed! The Koban, my prize. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket the particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasutai. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it.
On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my high treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The Koban vanished?
Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only finding nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hawaii Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send full report to Great Britain by telegraph this afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony that the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Aochi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but wait, what did he say? But you will find a wolf at the back. Okay. My witness have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryonosuke Hanaruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Idol. His name is Idol Nosa. I don't know, sir. Idol. Teen Shun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. That sergeant definitely looks like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. I was thinking of it for a long time. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Well, I should just autoplay this because I get to.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in the black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There's a young woman at the table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by investigator, as can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. Photographic print. Alright, so I gotta check the photo and see if it, I'll just check it right now. Yeah, this photo doesn't show if there's like another plate there. What's going on here? It's just not possible that anybody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw that woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no room for further doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsuchi Auchi, will have contributed to the... How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryu. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses. Make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. I don't know what press means. Let me just try that. No. It's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed soldier versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it's an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears in the very next moment. I saw you waving that gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korekuta-san?
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreman, he was that young lad in the black. That much I did myself see.
Alright. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. I mean, I just...
Yes!
You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you've been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing callous. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. That's what you'd expect.
Certainly 2 p.m. It's neither here nor there. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at the time of day.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim jacket's pocket. It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hata Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryu? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered in the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Why would I not want it to be submitted?
On what grounds? Court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Extraneous.
Objection!
We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Honestly, I gotta go to the bathroom. Ladies and gents, be right back. Alright, guys, we're back. We are back. Let me reactivate the webcam. Okay. This is obviously just the, you know, it's introducing the mechanics and the characters. It's something that all the Phoenix Wright games have, which is probably why it even gave me the option to skip to the next episode in the menu there. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. I need to put... Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimony leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekuta-san.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Alright, I mean... Well, let me just investigate this thing. How to... I mean, how the junk? Excellent work, Ryu. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Well, that's what I was trying to do. But it didn't let me. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's still showing me all that. Yeah. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright. Boy, I wish I spoke Japanese. How do you rotate it? Okay. Here we go. Dentist. Okay, so it's let's have a look. There's some kind of medical history. There's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps he used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. There's some social commentary for you. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides the water for 3 hours. I mean, this guy is a medical professor. Maybe he had it because it was of someone else. It was probably that waiter guy who was, you know, bleeding out of his mouth. Wait, I wasn't paying attention to that last part. What do you say? It's probably, you know, the part where he talks about the steak. Does he say that in this one, or was he? Wait. Oh, I thought I could actually go back. What? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, because obviously he was drinking the water, and I guess the lady was eating the steak. And the waiter wanted to send here. Chief Inspector. The waiter is a chief inspector? Okay, so obviously the waiter wanted to kill him. He wanted to frame him because of the whole British, you know, Japan treaty thing. Yeah. Police have a lot of power and influence if they're wielding. The waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. I mean, how am I supposed to present that? Whatever, we already looked at this. It says Hota Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? What is this? Oh, I just realized the text up there is being blocked. Never in my whole life. Most people will give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illness like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. So you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money for you for the privilege. Again, more social commentary here. Healthy curiosity. Good pun. Did we already do this? Yeah, we already did this. How do I skip it? I guess I can't skip it. Okay. The crucial point is, the victim had been prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. The fact has not yet been brought to the court's attention. He's right, thinking about Dr. Wilson's circumstances at the time of the incident. Puts that particular statement in a totally different light. Always keep your eye on the progress of the battle. That's the only sure way we win. Okay. I mean, when am I supposed to present this? Oh, whatever. I'll just present it here. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, pay attention. Pay no attention, Your Excellency. Now kindly lower your hand. Never. Not until I've proven that I'm innocent here. Okay, I guess I wasn't there.
Yes.
Well, I think, what are you withering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
I wish I could. First and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryu. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I can see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raise your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Korekuta-san, this is the medical report card belonging to the victim.
I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have had before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's Remember, Ryu, you don't have to use clever language. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there's no one else beside this pale-faced pupil who could possibly... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? Of course I believe it. How could it possibly... Perhaps because Hanta Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Korekuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No! Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we know now, had just had one tooth extracted and was still experiencing... Wait, what did he say? I didn't have time to see that.
Objection!
What? What's this nonsense? You little upstart? I just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of this anesthetic. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryu? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat? Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... I mean, it's either the two witnesses or an as yet unknown third party. I think that's it. Oh, man. mean, that waiter looks super sketchy. Where is the waiter, man? Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There is no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you. Oh, what do you mean? I have issue with them! Those two witnesses in the stand! What? What are you talking about? We've demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No! Negative! There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders.
That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
What? What did you just say? Korekuta-san?
no.
You were just following orders?
Now just hold on, lad. I was,
Say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What? What's the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair?
just one simple slip of the tongue.
Counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to pervert witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing about this. Then who's behind this? That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Ryu, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Aochi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could have only been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we confirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever tried to get these witnesses to keep their mouths shut? Of course. We'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power over her here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We have to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. Obviously, he's talking about the business card. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, I have no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shut out the first name that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga. Hosonaga-san. The waiter who stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give that testimony? Not to mention the fact that even the waiter could not have possibly... For once I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ryu. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. It's the back of the back of the card of interest. I beg your pardon. Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front and the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you the orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Inspector Hosonaga! I was worrying something like this might happen. And when you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Yeah, we all remember that part. Oh, well... Is there a problem? And the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So you mean to say you really are a detective? Why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at restaurants recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I'm not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We've just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you.
that at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to the other diner, but therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood an accused. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be the young Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed out the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say? Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. Huh? The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishwoman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as a primary suspect? Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yumei University is currently hosting a number of exchange students, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean? When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. And the court demands that you name the lady at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman is sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory at Yumei University. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in the testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered, that this premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report. Your own government would surely be very displeased by your actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence our proceedings in my courtroom. Yeah. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
it is at this point, folks, that I think I'm gonna head out. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.